pastor in inner city Washington, D.C. for many years. He's written a lot of great poetry and books. And this particular story comes from a 1980 poem book he wrote called Ragman and Other Cries of Faith. And it talks about the redemptive power of Christ in an inner city setting. Hope you enjoy it. I saw a strange sight. I stumbled upon a story most strange, like nothing in my life, my street sense, my sly tongue had ever prepared before. Even before the dawn one Friday morning, I noticed a young man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. He was pushing an old cart filled with clothes, both bright and new, and he was calling in a clear tenor voice, "Rags!" Ah, the air was foul and the first light filthy to be crossed by such sweet music. Rags! New rags for old, I take your tired rags, rags! This is a wonder, I thought to myself. For the man stood 6'3" and his arms were like tree limbs, hard and muscular, and his eyes flashed intelligence. Could he find no better job than this, to be a ragman in the inner city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I wasn't disappointed. Soon the ragman saw a woman sitting on her back porch. She was sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Her knees and elbows made a sad X. Her shoulders shook. Her heart was breaking. The ragman stopped his cart. Quietly, he walked to the woman, stepping around tin cans, dead toys, and discarded clothes. "Give me your rag," he said gently. "I'll give you another." He slipped the handkerchief from her eyes. She looked up, and he laid across her palm a linen cloth so clean and new that it shined. She blinked from the gift to the giver. Then, as he began to push his cart again, the ragman did a strange thing. He put her stained handkerchief to his own face, and then he began to weep, to sob as grievously as she had done, his shoulders shaking, yet she was left without a tear. "This is a wonder," I breathed to myself. And I followed the sobbing ragman like a child who cannot turn away from mystery. "Rags! Rags! New rags for old!" In a little while, when the sun showed gray behind some rooftops and I could see the shredded curtains hanging out black windows, the ragman came upon a girl whose head was wrapped in a bandage, whose eyes were empty. Blood soaked her bandage, and a single line of blood ran down her cheek. When the tall ragman looked upon the child with pity, he drew a lovely scarf from his cart. "Give me your rag," he said, tracing his own line on her cheek, "and I'll give you mine." The child could only gaze at him while he loosened the bandage, removed it, and tied it to his own head. The scarf he set on hers. And I gasped when I saw. For with the bandage went the wound. Against his brow it ran a darker, more substantial blood, his own. "Rags! Rags! I take old rags!" cried the sobbing, bleeding, strong, intelligent ragman. The sun hurt both the sky now in my eyes, and the ragman seemed more and more to hurry. "Are you going to work?" he asked the man who leaned against a telephone pole. The man shook his head. The ragman pressed him. "Do you have a job?" "Are you crazy?" sneered the other. He pulled away from the pole, revealing the sleeve of his jacket, flat, the cuff stuffed in a pocket. He had no arm. "So," said the ragman, "give me your jacket. I'll give you mine." So much quiet authority in his voice. The one-armed man took off his jacket. So did the ragman. I trembled at what I saw. For the ragman's arm stayed in its sleeve, and when the other put it on, he had two good arms, thick as tree limbs. But the ragman had only one. "Go to work," he said. After that, he found a drunk lying unconscious beneath an army blanket, an old man, hunched, wizened, and sick. And he took that blanket from the drunk, and he wrapped it around himself. For the drunk, he left a shiny, new, clean blanket. Now, I had to run to keep up with the Ragman. Though he was weeping uncontrollably and bleeding freely at the forehead, pulling his cart with one arm, stumbling for drunkenness, falling again and again, exhausted, old and sick, yet he went with terrible speed. On spider's legs he skittered through the alleys of the city, this mile and the next, until he came to its limits, and then he rushed beyond. I wept to see the change in this man. I heard to see his sorrow. I needed to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him so. The little old Ragman came to a landfill. He came to a garbage pit. And I waited to help him in what he did, but I hung back, idle, and climbed a hill. With tormented labor, cleared a little space on that hill. And then he sighed, and he lay down. He pillowed his head on a handkerchief and a jacket. He covered his bones with an army blanket. And he died. Oh, how I cried to witness that death. I wailed and I mourned as one who has no hope, because I had come to love the Ragman. Every other face had faded in the wonder of this man, and I cherished him. But he died. I sobbed myself to sleep. I did not know. How could I know? But I slept through Friday and Saturday and its night too. But then on Sunday morning I was wakened by a violence. Light, pure, hard, demanding light slammed against my sour face, and I blinked and I looked and I saw the first wonder of all. There was the Ragman folding the blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive. Besides that, healthy. There was no sign of sorrow or age. Then I lowered my head, trembling for all that I had seen. I myself walked up to the Ragman. I told him my name with shame, for I was a sorry figure next to him. And I took off my clothes in that place. I said to him, with yearning in my voice, "Dress me." He dressed me. My Lord, he put new rags on me, and I am a wonder beside him. The Ragman, the Christ.